negotiating ways to avoid that fiscal cliff. But time is not on their side, and we are joined by congressmen from both sides of the aisle. Republican Gardner from the fine state of Colorado, and the equally fine Wisconsin is represented by Democrat Ron Kind. Gentlemen, good to see you. Congressman Kind, to you first. There's discussion, a story in the Wall Street Journal today, about a change to the sequester to get rid of it, and basically instead of that put in place some spending cuts, maybe tax increases that would get us maybe 6 months into the middle of next year. I want to hear from both of you, starting with Congressman Kind. Do you agree with a temporary measure to avoid the big decisions that need to be made?
Well, Dagan, the answer to the fiscal cliff is reaching a long-term deficit reduction deal. And now we need to let the political dust settle, figure out a way for us to come together, listen to each other, and work hard to find some common ground. And listen, 80 CEOs gave their recommendation to us recently. It's going to have to entail some revenue and major spending reform in the budget to get this done. That's going to be, I think, a fair and balanced approach moving forward. And that's something that hopefully we're all going to be working and focusing on here in the weeks before the end of the year.
Before Congressman Gardner, I move on to you, but Congressman Kind, I want you to answer. Can you then get that done? Can you do something big picture, avoid a temporary measure by the end of the year?
You know, if we can get a process in place with some broader outlines of what that agreement would look like, then yeah, going into the next year would be appropriate. But I want to make sure that fiscal cliff remains. Otherwise, the pressure is going to get taken off from Congress, and there'll be little incentive then for us to negotiate and to compromise at the end of the day. And listen, even though President Obama won a big electoral victory, it was still a close popular vote. We still have divided government, so we're going to have to cooperate with each other in order to reach that agreement.
Well, Congressman Gardner, he's certainly reaching over to you, but I wanted you to answer first that question about would you be comfortable with something temporary that just gets us to mid-year?
Well, I think when it comes to the issue of sequestration, it's set a plan in place where we start reducing spending, and that's what we need to do. We need to reduce spending and grow our economy. So I would not support something that avoided spending cuts, but I would support something that did it in a different order, that did it in a way that doesn't cause the kind of damage to our national defense that sequestration could. So if we could find something that would reduce spending, give us the time we need to put together overall comprehensive tax reform to grow our economy and reduce spending even more, that could be something that we could support.
Congressman Gardner, do you think, though, that tax increases, even if they're just on the wealth, they are inevitable for this country?
No, I don't think they're inevitable. I do think that we need a comprehensive tax reform in this nation to grow the economy. We've put revenue on the table through a series of plans that would bring down taxes but also grow the economy, bringing more revenue to the federal government. But tax increases, the president's plan, would increase taxes on 1 million small businesses around the nation and hurt, according to Ernst & Young, as many as 700,000 jobs in this nation.
Congressman Kind, do you think tax increases, on that note, do you think tax reform is doable and tax increases, just rate increases on some groups of people, are avoidable?
Well, Dagan, I agree with Corey. We do need comprehensive tax reform. We have a monstrosity of a tax code. It's very inefficient. It's not leading the type of growth that we need in this country to help businesses large and small to be as competitive as they need to be. But listen, you know, revenue is revenue. Whether we adjust the marginal rates or take away some expenditures, revenue is something that 80 CEOs said we need, and that every bipartisan commission that's been formed to look and find solutions to this have concluded themselves. So how we get that additional revenue, I think we're going to be able to reach agreement on. It's the spending that we've got to come to grips with, and the largest and fastest growing area of spending is rising health care costs. I think with fee-for-service, go to a value or outcome-based reimbursement system, be tremendous amount of savings in the federal budget if we can do that. But that's really going to be the key to getting our fiscal house in order.
Now I want you two gentlemen to say kumbaya and hope the rest of Washington is listening.
We'll shake hands right here. Yeah. We got work to do. We know that.
There you go, Dagan.
Good to see you both. Representative Ron Kind of Wisconsin and Gardner of Colorado. Gentlemen, have a great weekend and get to work.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Take